What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to another reaction video. Like the title says, in this one we're gonna be reacting to TAEMIN's idea dance practice, and as always we're just not gonna be reacting to it. I will also be analyzing a little bit about the dance practice and just the dance moves and dancing in general, just all the knowledge that I have basically. I think you guys are already familiar with my whole dance practice analysis, and I think you all are also familiar with TAEMIN and him being my basically favorite male solo artist and dancer in K-pop in general. So I think without further ado, we're just gonna go ahead, jump right into the reaction, and then afterwards I'm gonna give my brief thoughts and then I'm gonna do the analysis. So let's go ahead and do that. Ooh. There we go with the isolations. Yes. Of course, I already saw some moments of the choreography. Ooh. Is Rian dancing again with him? I don't. Oh yeah, there she is, I think. Hey. Oh. Killing me. Ooh. Oh my god. His calmness. Oh my god, I have a lot to say about that moment right there. Ooh. Oh. It's just gonna be me going crazy over his dancing. Okay. Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun. Really fine again. The moments. Yes, nice explosiveness going, but still having the calm and smoothness throughout it. Yeah, you are your mama idea. Yeah, that's like the one that I remember the most from the whole video. That move, because it's so cool. Ooh, let's go slow motion. Ooh. Effect right there. Let's go, Rian. I'm sorry, I just got... Okay. I just got distracted by Rian for a second. She's a freaking amazing dancer too. I love her so much, man. And choreographer. Let's go. You. Three, I think. Those were 3 turns, right? Or 2. And oh, okay. A lot more subtle. I love, again, his choices. Yo, the dancers played together so well too. Oh my god, the camera cute. Cutie. And then he switches to his cutie pie mode. I can't with him. Stop it. Just stop it. You can't dance sensual and smooth and kind of the sexy feeling still going on, even though the song is a lot more powerful, and then switch to totally cute a second later. That's just that's not how it goes, Taemin. That's no. If you remember from my criminal dance practice video, I really emphasized his choices when he dances, and again I have to emphasize his choices because there were moments where I really just looked at him, looked at the dancer, looked at him, at the dancers, and I will dissect that moment when it comes. And I was like, oh, interesting, he really chose a different way to execute that whole section. And I have to say, I loved his choice a lot better than the dancer's choice, even though the dancers probably did it the way that the choreographer wanted it, if you know what I mean. Not saying that the choices of the choreographer is wrong, because the choreography is freaking dope, but it's just the way TAEMIN chose to execute to stand out was just so the right choice. But then when you put it against the dancer next to him, I just felt sorry for the dancers because they executed it so good too. But just the way he did it with his choice of execution was just another level. And the way he really put that choice throughout the whole choreography, he really never lost that choice, if you know what I mean. He didn't just chose afterwards a different execution when the choreo got faster. No, it was really more or less throughout the whole choreography. So that was really interesting to watch. This time also the chemistry with the dancers, especially the ending with their really time-stopping, milking kind of moments where they really are kind of playing with the texture of how they dance, of, you know, snapping and then milking the move through to give that kind of static but still moving kind of way, if you know what I mean. It was so freaking dope too. Again, isolations a lot. Also the choice how he chose to be really subtle again with those was really interesting. Also how he chose sometimes to make the move a little smaller to still do it, but I think also to still be able to sing, of course, because some of the movements that the dancers did really big would not be possible to do if you would sing with it too. Yeah, this time a lot more cleaner though with the execution, because also a big part from Criminal was how I dissected his natural way of dancing, how it feels kinda not clean, but it is if you really look at it. Like, it looks like he would be sloppy with his posture and his hands, but he's actually doing the move correctly. It's just how he chooses to do the posture and the hands and everything. This time around I didn't saw that much of it. It still was a lot in his dance style, but I think because the choreography was already in his dance style a lot more, he didn't modify it that much, or it wouldn't have fit with this fast of a song that could beat too. So yeah, again, freaking dope dance practice from TAEMIN. So we're just gonna go ahead and react to the dance practice again, and, you know, stop in between and analyze some little things I saw here and there. So let's go ahead and do that. Ooh. You are blessed. You da 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 da. Oof. Oof. Voices. Yo, his isolations. Yo. Okay. I'm just gonna let it play the beginning, but the isolations in the beginning so subtle. The way he sometimes, when they go down, he chose to not really go that down that much, to still have, you know, the presence to the front, to the camera, to the fans, whatever is in front of him basically. But still, he's still doing it, but it's so subtle. But when you look at his upper body, it is moving, and it's so important too. Ta 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 ta. You saw that? How subtle that na 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 na. He's still doing it, but it's so small. You already see it in that standstill right here, how the dancers really go down. He's doing it too, but it's a little bit more smaller because he tries to keep the presence to the front. And then when you look at his body, he's doing it. You see that little isolation right there, still big enough to see it, but then again more subtle than the dancers, and it just gives that did you see how much body control that guy has just doing that so small? Because isolations and time stops uses a lot of body control, because you really have to control your body to move the only things that you want to move, and the rest should stay still, and he's just a king of that. And you can see it really well now. Okay, this body wave, I have another thing. This body wave is a snap and then a milk down, snap and a milk down. But you see how he keeps his body posture up? He really puts pressure on his body, on his upper back to keep that front up. So when he does that wave, it feels like he's flowing, like he's floating around the room, while the dancers look a little bit more grounded because they don't have the body posture that high up as he has. And he then really goes slowly down. The dancers to do it amazingly, how they really use every single muscle to do the body wave. But the way TAEMIN does it, because his body posture is so up and he breaks it so well, he really feels like he's flowing while he does that body wave. You see that? How he really keeps it up at the beginning with his shoulder to then roll it down. Amazing. Again, I could watch that in a loop for like the whole day because it's isolation on its perfection. Look at that. I swear to God, I'm going crazy over a head move. Oh my God, but look at that. And you are my missing me. Here we go. Okay. Oof, the subtleness, I can't. Oh my God, the smoothness. Hey. Okay, that is the section that I talked about in my first impression, where I really went back and forth with his dancers, I think with those two right in the back right here. And again, the dancers execute amazingly, but it's a different execution than TAEMIN. More or less, I think it's just something that he does different than them. He keeps the tension up nearly all the time in this section, while the dancers choose to relax and then go into the snapping movement, while TAEMIN is more tense to go then into it, which gives that a lot more smoother feeling throughout it, especially in the beginning stages. Boom. You see how they really snap into it, so they really relaxed, and TAEMIN chose to really just to be tuck, tuck, tuck. You really can feel his tension throughout it, while the dancers are a little bit more snappier, a little more faster. They put a little bit more hits into it, while TAEMIN choose to make the hit a lot more subtle by being a lot more tensed up than the other ones. So also when they do the wave, his wave is a lot smaller because he keeps his upper body and his arms a lot more tensed than his dancers, which for me just gives a little bit more of a when he does it, because you're just like, how can you be this smooth? Like, come on, man. Ta ta ta. It really feels like he's going through peanut butter, you know? That's basically that's how his whole body feels, even in this part. Yes, he's a little bit more relaxed in that ta 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 because he has to be to have that strong moment right there, that loose moment too. But it still has kind of the tension behind there, like his whole body feels just like he's going through Nutella and peanut butter all the time. And then right after that little bit more relaxation, he goes back into it, into the peanut butter. Just already that subtle little thing right there against the other dancers. And the way he's so calm while doing it. That's another side effect of keeping it tensed and being really subtle with it and not just explode and hit every single time. The whole choreography feels a lot more calm when he does it. He's like, oh, I do that for breakfast every day. That's so easy. What are you talking about? Why do you find that so hard? It's just so easy. I'm just isolating, you know? It also gives that feeling of, because there is a relaxation to the tensing feel that he has, which is just so contradicting, but that's what you do. And The only way that you achieve that is by being really tensed up with your upper body when doing those little subtle isolations, but then your hands are really relaxed more or less. So it gives that nice contrasting feel of being so smooth and tensed, but kind of relaxed. Here is he's just trying to flirt, man, the way he... And then he comes in with the snappiness right there. You saw how he all of a sudden now tensed up his arm too, his hand too, and it gave that robotic, fast, snappy feel. That is the difference before the other execution to then that little execution right there. Dun, 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 dun. Nice. You are my savior. You are killing me. Now he's a lot more, not stressed, a lot more snappy with the dancers, because that's what this part of the choreography needs. If he would have done this a lot more smoother, it wouldn't fit really well. The other choice still went, even though it was a different execution, but the choreography was different. You could really execute it this way and it would look good and a full picture. But if he would do it now in this section with the dancers, it would feel wrong and look wrong. So he made again the right choice to execute it a lot more, not sloppy, but a lot more with more relaxation hits in between and time stops too, which use the relaxation too to stop in between. Oh, not the time stops. Those are all really fast, snappy movements which use relaxations, like I explained in Criminal. It's like you would whip a friend with a towel. It's like that whipping motion into the move, and they do it like several times really fast, basically, and then they go into a time stop where they're really tensed up to give that kind of breathing moment right there, which gives a nice executional difference to the other one, a little breather to the fast execution. Ta 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 ide a ma 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 a. Nice little breakout. Ma idea. Let's be honest, his hitting is 10 times better than the one on the left. If I now contrast it, his hitting, he really hits with his upper arm right here, ta-ta, and also his like upper body does the work too to make it a lot more sharper and effective. His hits are a lot bigger than the ones from the dancers. I think it's also how he really chooses to do. He really goes a lot more out after doing those double hits, so it gives a lot more of a bigger effect when he comes back into it. The difference between hits and time stops, you want to stop time, or for that you have to contrast, you have to tense up basically your whole body to really just move one singular thing. You use time stops a lot to isolate, basically is more or less time stops, especially when you do robotic things. So you really want to stop time for a second and then go into the next one. So you have to be tensed up all around. Hitting, you in between relax your muscles. So you gave that popping feeling, that hit feeling, and hip hop, especially choreographies influenced by hip hop and popping, they use the hits especially in the upper body, the front, the back, and the down hit. And so when you see, especially in group choreographies, hits, they use a lot of those hits. In this case, it's like, I would say like a slight front hit with the upper body 2 times, and then a kind of bounce back as if you're pushing against the wall 2 times and bouncing off of it, basically. So you kind of tense up your upper arm too to stop your upper arm to go through that wall basically. So it's a mixture of those two executions of a double bounce, hit, something in between like that. His his stronger arm is the left arm. He's a lot bigger with the left arm. My stronger arm, I think, is still the right one. I'm not so sure, but there's always a stronger side when it comes to hitting. His is the left one, I would say. Hey, nice smoothness going out. The slow motion effect, love it. This whole section, the choreographer, genius. There's also a similar way with the one going back where they already stand in the position and then they dance into those positions and then they go through it. I think some dance crews did it. They do it the opposite way, you know, dancing and then coming out in poses, which is also really cool. Love it. Yeah. Yo. I saw a comment under the music video being like, yo, he calls this whole series Never Gonna Dance Again, and then he drops something like that. Damn. A lot more subtle with the wave. I love how he still chose to do it in his natural way of dancing, especially now the body wave too. He could have done it as big as the dancers, but it wouldn't feel like TAEMIN if he did it. So he chose to again be a little bit more subtle and smaller with it, which just gives that TAEMIN vibe to it. Also, this whole section right here where I talked about that comment is just him flexing his dancing ability. Like the drop down is just really tiring. Like I had it once in my choreography, drop down, up. It's really tiring. It's like a whole workout on its own, just that section. And it's really fast, really nice executed. So we're gonna watch it again. 1, 2, ta 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 ta, boom, ta ta, boom, boom, ta ta ta. That drop down, 2 turns, right? 1.5, I would even say. Here, he was a little bit more subtle, which I like a lot more with the dancing. He's so subtle, but you still see everything so clearly. Isolation, especially body wave or arm wave, isolations this subtle is just a practice thing. You just have to practice it every day and then you can move every single muscle just like TAEMIN basically. So it shows just his worth ethic and his practice drive basically just in that little body wave, how he executes it. Nice stop that they do also too right before it. A little time stop. You see how smaller he is? He doesn't use the shoulder that much as the other ones, which gives that TAEMIN feelings. Hey. Did you see how relaxed his hands are? And here he goes. Da-da. That one with isolation. That's one of my favorite parts when he does the arm wave and the dancers go with it. That's when I was like, wow, the chemistry, it just is right on point when they move and he moves. Amazing. Yo. Oof. And this whole section is really just snap and then basically not stopping after the snap. Then it would be like that second chorus choreography. No, they're basically going through the move. So they snap and then go through it, tack into the next one. So it gives that kind of slow motion but static kind of vibe, if you know what I mean. So they're really milking it through the move and not stopping at the move and go into the next one. Boom. Da-da. See how they're not stopping, they're really going further again. Boom, boom. And then he just changes into a freaking cute. His favorite pose. I love that he keeps that going. Yeah, great work again. Great work. And he goes into this. That's not allowed, TAEMIN. You can't be cute one moment and the other one dance like this. This was my little dance reaction analysis of TAEMIN's idea. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought of TAEMIN's idea, dance practice. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Be safe and don't forget to subscribe, like, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Drowning out our sorrows, holy water lost at sea. Stacking all this baller, I might cop a submarine.